If you're cool enough or awesome enough to remember the 1980s, you'll remember Donkey Kong. It was a video game that had princesses, gorillas, some random Italians trying to get to the top of a big erector set. Well, we have the erector set. We have a princess, maybe a gorilla or two. We're a little short on Italians today, but we have a way to the top. It's the 2013 Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG, and we're going to climb it today in it. I'm Marty Padgett from High Gear Media, and today we're going to tell you more about the G63 and its 544 horsepower V8. We're in the alpine town of La Clusaz, France, that didn't win the Winter Olympics when it bid, but it's surrounded by towns that did. Yes, it's awkward, but somehow they've managed to muddle through. Now on this trip we won't spend any time with the carryover G550, 388 horsepower. We've driven that version before. We won't be spending any time with the G65 either, though we would dearly love to since it has 12 cylinders, twin turbos, and 612 horsepower. We'll get the 544 horsepower twin turbo V8 instead. Now some of the other distinctive touches that really set apart the G63 AMG, twin side pipes, 20-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels with red painted brake calipers if you want them, and in the US we'll get chrome finished grille guards and brush guards. We'll also get turn signal cages for, well, just a little bit butcher look, as if it needed it. Now, Mercedes has updated the interior of the G-Class to keep it fresh for a few more years to go along with the powertrain updates. A new set of gauges. There's a bigger LCD screen so that the command system has a sharper interface. They've also updated the center stack, the AMG shifter for the 7-speed automatic. But if you want a cup holder, you're going to have to use something that's a little more impromptu. Some of the safety features that Mercedes has included this time around include features like Distronic Plus. That's their adaptive cruise control system. There's also a blind spot monitor system this time around, LED daytime running lights, Parktronic, which is parking sensors, and Embrace 2, which is the system that Mercedes uses to connect mobile phones to the car's entertainment system so that you'll be able to, for instance, play Pandora streaming audio through the head unit. So what's it like to drive a G63 AMG? Well, we can't get over the feeling that there's a muscle car lurking underneath this huge metallic angular skin. The acceleration's just incredible. However, the stability control has to be tuned really aggressively to deal with the body roll from such a tall, heavy vehicle. So while it feels really aggressive in straight line acceleration, every time you lean into a corner, the G63 really trims its own power so that it's able to handle a corner with authority, not with more than enough fear. Of course, it sounds magnificent, especially when you're leaving a corner. Of course, the G-Wagon was originally built as a military vehicle, so off-road prowess is a given. Four-wheel drive is standard, and on light off-roading like this, just on gravel or light mud, you don't even need to engage the differentials. Whether it's the 18-inch wheels of the base version or even the 20-inch wheels on the AMG version, the G-Wagon has plenty of wheel travel and has plenty of traction to be able to handle this kind of basic light off-roading that would scare most any crossover vehicle right off the path. Now when the trail gets really tough, you're going to have to start locking some differentials, something you can't do on a crossover vehicle. You'll start by locking the middle differential, ties together the front wheels and the rear wheels. Then you can lock the rear wheels together. Finally, you can pull together the front wheels so that all four wheels are moving in the same direction, trying to get you over really any rough terrain. By the way, no rocks and trees were harmed in the filming of this video, and actually that is not true. Of course, the ultimate test we have today is the Schöckel. Now, if you can pronounce that, you probably already know that the Schöckel is a trail that's near the G-Class's home factory. It's a Magnasteyr plant where it's been built for 30 years outside of Graz, Austria. Schuckel is a real mountain, and since we couldn't bring the mountain to this part of France, Mercedes decided to bring a mobile version, this version made out of steel, to us. Now after a 10-minute warm-up, the G-Class is ready to start climbing. We've engaged some of the differentials and turned off some of the stability controls so that we can get a little wheel slip. And once our driver's found a special red mark that's right on the final post, puts his mirror just touching that, we stop. There's actually nothing stopping us from going right over the edge. Something I didn't find out until we got to about this point. It's all the driver's training, knowing when to stop, because once you get to the top, this Schuckel actually relies on the vehicle's weight to slowly piston over hydraulically. No power, no nothing, just hydraulics to tilt itself over for the descent. Now, because the G-Wagen doesn't have some of the fancy electronics like some other vehicles do for terrain response, terrain control, terrain management, you can get into some exotic off-road driving techniques like left-footed braking. It's really just one step removed from manually locking hubs, some things that you used to have to do in off-roading all the time. Of course, today we're not so much worried about that as rolling off the side. Now here I'm asking the driver what the angle of descent is, A, because I'd like to have the actual number, 38.5%, B, because I want to make sure we're under that number. Within just a couple of minutes, we're making our descent. Everybody's more comfortable, me included, and the G-Class is no worse for wear. And you can do this with any G-Class, including the AMG that we're driving around now. You know, this kind of off-roading talent is baked into every version that they build, no matter whether you're getting the pure off-road version or the pure style version.
There aren't many vehicles that can claim both a military heritage and a sports car heritage, but the G63 is one of them. It's got 544 horsepower thanks to AMG, and it has 3 differential locks thanks to years and years of off-road heritage. I'm Marty Padgett for High Gear Media. Thanks for joining us.